Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
However, for some are more listeners than readers, and I'm apparently a talker because this is DK will talk about it. And yes, I do read sometimes, but I really don't want to read all this. So what I'm going to do, like I did once before, is I'm going to go to the link where this conference call is, and I'm just going to let it rip. And that will be the substance of this video, unless some bright ideas come into my mind, and then I will say them. However, otherwise, I'm just going to play this out, and I'll probably try to look to put some interesting pictures to go by like I did before, so you're not just looking at this screen if you are looking at a screen. But let's listen to what the man said and see how it works out. I want to thank you for stopping by. I know I'm putting out 3 videos today, but I'm breaking them down to keep them at least mostly viewed, and also, you know, to give little bites to squeeze in times around my schedule as well. So thanks for stopping by. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Let's listen in on Bruce. And once again, I'll remind everybody, I don't know Bruce. I do know I respect anybody who's hung in there this long. I don't know what the motivation is. I think he sells products too, but I really don't care. You know, honest living should get an honest pay. Let's hear what he says. Let's get his intel. I know it's been right and wrong like everybody else.
Wonderful, you guys. All right, let's talk a little bit about where we are. Now, we do have some good news. I don't have the toll-free numbers yet. However, let's talk about what is happening. Remember, we've talked about Tier 3 bondholders and then Tier 4 A and B. We're at Tier 4B as the Internet group, the largest single group of ZIM holders and other currency holders. Okay? Now, here's the deal. We heard today and got clarification on something that was supposed to occur at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time this morning. And from 4 until 11 a.m., bond sellers of the bonds, were notified that the transactions that they are looking for would be complete in 24 hours from 11 a.m. this morning. And that means that around 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, a.m. is morning, 11 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, the bond sellers will have notifications that they have access to their funds and how much they have access to. In the meantime, between 11 a.m. today and 11 a.m. tomorrow, the bond buyers and their paymasters are connecting and going through their connection so that the bond sellers can receive emails from the paymasters tomorrow, so that the bond sellers can receive emails from the paymasters tomorrow at 11 a.m., giving them full access to whatever amount they're entitled to as of 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, Eastern Daylight Time. Now, here's the thing. We have been told for months that we are either running parallel with the bondholders, we're on a shotgun start with the bondholders, or we're slowly behind or on the heels of the bondholders going. Well, the bondholders are apparently going to be made liquid tomorrow by 11 a.m. in the morning, and we should, that's the operative word, should be receiving our notifications shortly thereafter. It could be before noon, it could be afternoon, but it should be on the heels of the bondholders receiving their notifications tomorrow from their paymasters at approximately 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, obviously, I'm not calling it or saying it's going to absolutely happen, but this is what we're being told from high-ups in Wells Fargo and Chase and other banks regarding the bonds. Remember, we had 50% of the bondholders that had received payouts already or notifications out of Zurich and out of Singapore, but out of the United States, which is really Reno, New York to an extent, and Miami, major action out of Miami and Reno. So what we need now is recertification and confirmation that the bondholders have been paid, which we should get tomorrow if they do receive those notifications around 11 o'clock in the morning. So paymasters and bond buyers are coordinating now to complete everything on the purchasing of those bonds, and then that should take it and make it a done deal, so to speak, by tomorrow morning around 11. Now, maybe not all transactions will be complete, but certainly we're hearing that a majority of those transactions should be complete, and it should provide liquidity and access to those funds in those accounts, in the seller's accounts, when they receive the emails with access codes so that they can access those accounts and see the monies in the account and have access to those accounts to spend those funds. Okay? So that's where that process is. I think it's really good that we're hearing what we're hearing about it. And I think it's good that we're hearing that we in 4A and B are on the heels of the bondholders, which are Tier 3, which are the bondholders getting access to funds. If all of that comes through according to plan, and they get their access to funds starting at 11 in the morning tomorrow, then we should be looking to be notified sometime after that. And I can't tell you exactly when because we don't have that. We weren't given a time for Tier 4B to be notified today. We don't have it. The trend has been for us to talk about getting notified in the and then set appointments and then go exchange and redeem our ZIM the following day. Now that's conceivable. That is possible with what's happening with the bonds and with the bond sellers. Okay? So that's really good. Now, on another thing, I've got two other little things to talk about. One is that on Sunday, the Iraqi dinar, the new Iraqi dinar, sometimes they call it the NID, new Iraqi dinar, was placed on the bank screens for trading at 9 p.m. Sunday night. This was last Sunday, 2 nights ago, okay? The dinar came out at 68 cents, and by 11 o'clock Monday morning, that was yesterday morning, it had traded up to $5.60. Now, it should be trading much higher than that now, and it should be trading on up to to numbers that we had talked about and that Dr. Sinon Al-Shabibi had talked about, if you remember, the numbers we talked about in the past at the International Chamber of Commerce meeting, where Blue Star asked him how many dollars could the Iraqi dinar support when it came out. And you guys remember what Dr. Shabibi said. I'm hearing that we should be at that number or greater. Okay? So we'll see how that goes. It's certainly on its way now. Now, have all of the other countries that are gold-backed, have they been placed on the screens for trading yet? I don't have that. I don't know that. The only way to track any of that would be to have a legitimate trading account with Forex as a Forex trader, a bona fide Forex trader. to be able to follow that. You can't go to xe.com, or you can't go to some of the other sites and just see it. It's not there. It's being traded on what we would call the gray screens or the back screens for the banks, okay? And when the time is right, it'll be placed out on the front screen with the other currencies that we are looking to exchange when we go to our appointments at the Redemption Center. All right? So that's one piece I wanted to bring out. The next piece is we understand that the president of Zimbabwe was faced with an inflation scenario that he wanted to stem and head off at the pass. So he ended up saying that they would start minting gold. Is a gold-backed Zimbabwe for their people. Now, this essentially is a gold-backed Zimbabwe currency because it's in gold coins. You know, the Zimbabwe bearer bonds that we have are very, very large denominations. And I'm not sure, it hasn't been spoken yet as to what size denomination, if you will, these coins will represent. But it is something that has been started, and it's just a few days old. This information started coming out on the 24th, today's the 28th of June. So they're very new and fresh in getting these gold-backed coins minted. The good news is we've got evidence that now the Zimbabwe dollar, if you will, is gold-backed.
That's
now,
huge.
The Zimbabwe dollar is to be on par with the U.S. dollar, which means 1 to 1. $1, 1 USN dollar would be worth 1 Zimbabwe dollar. Okay, that's what on par.
Now do the math on that thought. 1 Zimbabwe dollar would be worth 1 US dollar, and the Zimbabwe dollar is gold back. Where does that tell you that the US dollar is headed? Perhaps to gold back? Would you turn in $1 worth about 16 cents for a gram of gold worth about $52, $58? Would you do that? Give it some thought. Give it some thought.
But the Zimbabwe dollar is no longer pegged to the United States dollar. It's separated. It's apart from that. And that's a good thing. So we're looking forward to all of these countries, not only the BRICS nations, the BRICS plus 12 nations, and then some, all having asset-backed or gold-backed currencies that will be tradable with our USN. And of course, every time we turn around, we're trying to find out, is the USN tradable yet? Do we have it on the bank screens as USN, a gold-backed dollar?
Consider the logic.
We know the USTNs have been printed for a while now. We know that that represents a gold-backed currency for us, our new money, if you will, USTN, United States Treasury notes, no longer a fiat currency called a Federal Reserve note. These will be currency that will be put in the ATMs, that will be in the banks, all of that when the right time is known. We don't know exactly when. Until that time, we use the fiat dollars that we have, and when we spend it and we give it to the stores will actually have drop boxes to put the fiat currency in.
That might speak to my earlier comments in a different video about the bank runs and the inability to get cash. The old cash has to have some type of narrative to pull it off the streets, folks. There's going to have to be some kind of narrative and a crash to do that. And I think that crash will be crashing of the banking system so that you can't use your debit cards. Stores will revert back to only accepting cash. And for those who have been hoarding cash, The faster you let it go, the faster we can make this happen. That's what I believe. But they know how much cash is out there in the M1 money supply, and they're going to pull it in as best as they can so they can transition over to the Phoenix, which is the blockchain gold-backed quantum financial system where your phone will be your wallet and you won't be using a whole lot of cash. So you can hold this up by being staunch in your old ways, or you can see the direction of money and get involved and recognize that there's no banks holding enough cash to fund everybody if there's a bank run. It's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen, and we shall see. All right, let's keep on going.
But in the meantime, just spend out the fiat dollars that you're getting now until we get
ahead of it.
The new currency to come out. It might take a little while. It might be the 4th of July. It could be, well, which is a holiday. It could be after the 4th. Could be 5th or 6th of July. Now, we believe the goal is for us to have our start with our exchanges and our 29th. Guess what? We've only got a couple of days left, right? Today's the 28th, 29th, 30th. We might get started by the end of the month if the notifications were to come out tomorrow and if we were to set appointments and start on Thursday.
Didn't happen.
Which would be the last day of the month. It's very conceivable. I don't know if we're going to get pushed or not. I don't know. I don't have that. Unfortunately for us, a lot of times the banks are under severe NDAs. They're hushed and they're quieted. And sometimes we get information, but most of the time it's not like we used to get information, which was pretty readily. Now it's a little bit tougher. And we do find sometimes new sources. But it's, this is a deal where they don't really want us to know the when. You guys know that by now. And there are plenty of forces opposing this going at all. And what we've got to do is get the old cabal forces within our government to be removed, which they're doing now, and move forward into our restored republic, which we're also doing now. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the bondholders. I'm hoping that everything goes through as we have heard for them by tomorrow morning, and that we could get notified on the heels of the...
Well, folks, that's all I got from the big call from Bruce. But if you want to take a trip to the moon, it's not a short trip around to your local convenience store, and surely this has been a journey. And so a lot of things are beginning to fall together for those who are paying attention with their brains instead of their emotions. And I hope that the majority of my audience is being guided in that direction if you weren't there already. I share information, folks. That's all I do. This is DK. We'll talk about it. Of course, I share perspectives and my own thoughts on matters and even forecasts. But that's all to try to help each and every one of us to try to stay on point, not get shaken, rattled, and rolled. Don't get shaken off that rug. Take a good look and see where the direction of money is heading, and hopefully put ourselves in a position, us and our families, to at least not suffer for what's coming any more than necessary. But everybody knows where I'm at with that. Eventually, you're going to rely on one source and one source only. I hope you get to know that source along the way as well. But that's going to end this video, folks. And as you are fully aware, please like, please subscribe, because see, I'm DK Will. And this is DK Will Talk About It. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful night.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.